Welcome to the Pardes channel. Today we explain Numbers chapter 7 in a clear and simple way, step by step. We're getting ready to journey through the longest chapter in the entire Torah. We're talking an impressive 89 verses here. Now, with a chapter that long, you might expect it to be just packed with dramatic plot twists. But actually, the real beauty of this chapter lies in its precise, deliberate, and almost rhythmic structure. To really get what's happening here, we need just a quick bit of context. So picture this. The Israelites are currently camped out in the desert of Sinai. Moses has just finished setting up the Tabernacle. That's the portable sanctuary where God's presence actually dwells. It's been completely set up, fully anointed, sanctified, and consecrated, along with all of its altars and holy vessels. Basically, it is completely ready for use. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the Tabernacle logistics. Second, the tribal offerings. Third, we'll be totaling the gifts. Fourth, hearing the divine voice. And finally, number 5, we'll wrap up with some key ideas and lessons. All right, let's dive into section 1, Tabernacle logistics, specifically looking at the carts and oxen. This covers verses 1 through 9. Okay, so the Tabernacle is an incredibly holy space, absolutely. But practically speaking, it's also a very heavy structure. And since the Israelites are a nomadic people, they have to transport this whole thing across an unforgiving desert. It's a massive logistical challenge. So, to solve this, the tribal princes, the guys who oversaw the census, step up to the plate. Right before the tabernacle, they bring a dedication offering consisting of 6 covered carts and 12 oxen. To break that down, that is exactly 1 ox from each of the 12 leaders and 1 cart shared between every 2 leaders. The Lord then tells Moses to accept these gifts so they can be handed over to the Levites. Remember, the Levites are the specific tribe dedicated entirely to maintaining, packing, and moving the tabernacle. But here's where it gets interesting. How exactly does Moses distribute these carts and oxen among the 3 main Levite clans? Well, he actually doesn't divide them equally at all. He gives 2 carts and 4 oxen to the Gershonite clan. Then he gives 4 carts and 8 oxen to the Merarite clan. And what about the Kohathites? He gives them absolutely 0. No carts and no oxen. Now you have to wonder, why in the world would there be such a strictly unequal distribution? Well, it all comes down to the specific nature of their burden. It makes perfect sense when you look at the details. The Merarites, they are responsible for the heaviest structural components of the entire tabernacle. We're talking the solid frames, the heavy crossbars, the massive posts, and the heavy bases. They desperately need those 4 carts and 8 oxen just to physically move the framework. Now the Gershonites carry the lighter woven curtains and tent coverings, so they only require 2 carts. But the Kohathites, the ones who received 0 carts, their job is to carry the most sacred, holy items. Think the Ark of the Covenant, the golden lampstand, the altars. The text strictly commands that these exceptionally holy artifacts simply cannot be placed on a wooden cart. They have to be carried directly on the shoulders of the Kohathites. Moving right along to section 2, the 12 tribal offerings. This is a big one, covering verses 10 through 83. So with the transportation logistics all sorted out, the tribal leaders now want to bring offerings for the altar's dedication. The Lord instructs Moses that each day exactly 1 leader is to bring his offering, which kicks off this deliberate 12-day sequence. But before we look at exactly what they brought, let's just briefly define the specific sacrifices mentioned here. We want to make sure the literal actions are crystal clear. A burnt offering is an animal completely consumed on the altar as a pleasing aroma to God. A sin offering is brought specifically to make atonement for the people. A fellowship or peace offering is really unique because only a portion of it is actually burned. The rest is eaten by the priests and the people bringing it, so it acts like a shared, joyous communal meal. And finally, a grain offering simply consists of fine flour mixed with oil. Okay, so here is the fascinating part. Every single day, for 12 days straight, the designated leader brings this exact, specific list of items. Let's look closely at this inventory. They bring 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels. To put that into perspective, that's about 3¼ pounds of solid silver. They also bring 1 silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, which is almost 2 pounds. And both of these silver vessels are filled right to the brim with fine flour and oil for that grain offering we just talked about. On top of that, they bring a gold dish weighing 10 shekels. That's about 4 ounces of pure gold filled with fragrant incense. Then there's the livestock. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb for a burnt offering. one male goat for a sin offering, and a massive fellowship offering consisting of 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs. And it's super important to note, the text specifically says these weights are measured according to the sanctuary shekel, which guarantees a perfect uniform value across every single gift. This brilliantly illustrates the rhythm of the text. For the next several dozen verses, the Torah repeats this exact list word for every single leader. And we are going to walk through this steady march right now to honor the text's precise repetition. So on day 1, Nahshon, son of Amminadab, leader of the tribe of Judah, brings his offering. On day 2, Nathaniel, leader of Issachar, brings his identical offering. Day 3 belongs to Eliab, the leader of Zebulun. And day 4 is Eliezer, the leader of Reuben. Each man steps forward on his dedicated day, bringing the exact same weights of silver, the exact same gold, and the exact same livestock. The momentum just continues to build. Day 5, Shelomuel, the leader of Simeon, brings his gifts. Day 6, Eliasaph, the leader of Gad. Day 7, Elishama, leader of Ephraim. Day 8, Gamaliel, leader of Manasseh. Just try to imagine actually being in the Israelite camp during this time. Every single morning, a new prince arrives at the Tabernacle with this incredibly generous, completely identical bounty. It establishes this remarkably solemn, beautiful, and totally equal dedication process for the entire community. Finally, we complete this majestic 12-day procession. Day 9 is Abidan of Benjamin. Day 10 is Ahiezer of Dan. Day 11 is Pagiel of Asher. And on day 12, the final day, Ahira, the leader of the tribe of Naphtali, brings his offering. You see, no tribe was skipped over. No tribe was rushed or summarized for the sake of time. The ancient text gives the exact same amount of space and the exact same honorable words to Naphtali on day 12 as it did to Judah all the way back on day 1. That brings us to section 3, totaling the dedication gifts, which covers verses 84 through 88. After meticulously detailing every individual day, the text shifts gears into a mathematical synthesis to show us the grand total of resources now available for the tabernacle service. First up, we have the silver, 12 silver plates and 12 silver bowls. When you add up the 130 shekels and the 70 shekels from all 12 leaders, the grand total comes to an impressive 2,400 shekels of silver. To put that in a modern perspective, that is roughly 61 pounds of solid, highly crafted silver donated to the sanctuary just in these vessels alone. It's incredible. Next, let's look at the gold. We have 12 golden pans, each weighing 10 shekels, and filled entirely with incense. This gives us a grand total of 120 shekels of gold, which is about 3 pounds of pure gold. And again, remember, this was all freely given by the leaders on behalf of their respective tribes to honor and consecrate this newly anointed altar. And then we have the livestock, which is just visually stunning when you add it all together. Over those 12 days, the altar received 36 animals for burnt offerings, perfectly split into 12 bulls, 12 rams, and 12 lambs. There were 12 male goats for the sin offering. But look at this staggering number for the fellowship offerings, 204 animals. That breaks down to 24 oxen, 60 rams, 60 goats, and 60 lambs. Because the fellowship offering is a shared meal, this literally means that for 12 consecutive days, the entire camp of Israel was essentially partaking in a massive, joyous communal feast of dedication. Now for section 4, hearing the divine voice. We find this in verse 89. We have now reached the absolute climax of the chapter. After 88 verses detailing logistics, heavy carts, exact weights of silver and gold, and massive herds of animals, the text suddenly shifts. It moves right into the quiet, intimate, spiritual reality of the inner sanctuary. The verse reads, "When Moses entered the tent of meeting to speak with the Lord, he heard the voice speaking to him from between the 2 cherubim above the atonement cover on the Ark of the Testimony, and he spoke with him." It's such a powerful moment. After all the physical preparation and joyous dedication by the people, the ultimate goal is finally achieved. Communication with God is clearly established, and Moses literally hears the divine voice speaking. And that brings us to our final section, section 5. Key ideas and practical life lessons. So we have just walked step by step through the longest chapter in the Torah. And really, what is the most profound question you can ask about Numbers chapter 7? If every single prince brought exactly 1 silver plate, 1 silver bowl, 1 gold pan, and the exact same animals, why did the text repeat the entire list 12 separate times? I mean, the Torah is usually incredibly concise. often summarizing massive historical events in just a few sparse words. Why use 89 verses when it could have just said, Nahshon brought these items and the other 11 princes brought the exact same thing? The answer to that gives us our core practical life lessons. By detailing every single matching gift verse by verse, the text proves that God values every individual's contribution equally and personally. Imagine being a Hira of Naphtali on day 12. Your gift isn't just lumped into some hurried summary at the end. Your name and your exact contribution are permanently recorded with the exact same honor as the very first prince. It teaches us that in our own lives, every individual truly counts. Names matter. Even if your good deeds look exactly like your neighbors, they're uniquely cherished and seen. That kind of consistency and equality and dedication is just profoundly beautiful. Let's do a quick recap of the literal journey we just took through this remarkable explainer of the text. We started with the practical logistics, distributing the transport carts and oxen to the Levites based strictly on the weight of their burden. Then, we witnessed the 12 days of perfectly equal, repetitive gifts from the tribal leaders. We synthesized those gifts into their grand totals of silver, gold, and livestock. And finally, we ended in the quiet solitude of the tent of meeting, where Moses heard the voice of God. So, as you go through your week, ask yourself, how can I bring my own consistent, unique, and personal dedication to the things that matter most in my life, knowing that my individual contributions are seen and valued? Thank you for learning with us. If this helped you understand the chapter better, like, subscribe, and join us for the next chapter.